Today we're looking at lesson 2.3 in Algebra 2, quick graphs and linear equations, another recap of Algebra 1 material. We're using slope, intercept, and standard form to graph these equations beginning on page 82 in the text. First one is the y-intercept. This is the intercept most people are familiar with. It's where it actually crosses through the y-axis. This is the y-axis here. Where it crosses through, if an equation goes through, it's talking about that value right there. If its y value is 3, for example, then the y-intercept would be at 0.03, or y-intercept's value would be 3. It's the b value in y equals mx plus b. B tells you where to begin when you graph. We'll get to that in just a second. Slope-intercept form is what I just wrote a second ago. Y equals mx plus b. Y and x are variables that go inside of it. M is your slope, and plus b, your b value, is, just like a second ago, your y-intercept where it crosses through. Standard form is written as ax plus by equals c. Now this is talking about linear equations, ax plus by equals c. When we start graphing quadratic equations, which will come up very shortly, your standard form will be ax squared plus bx plus c equals what it is. But again, I'll show you that when we get there. The x-intercept is the one that's less known to people. Not because it's any harder, but the reason it's less known is because you didn't use it in y equals mx plus b. It's the same concept, though. This is the x value. If you're talking about the equation, this is where it crosses through the x value. So if that point right there, well, let's say, for example, 2, 0, then its x-intercept value would be 2. It's whatever the x value is at that spot. This is how you graph in slope-intercept form. The slope-intercept form of the equation gives you a quick way to graph the equation. Write the equation by solving for y. So get y by itself, isolate it. Step 2, find the y-intercept and use it to plot the point where the line crosses the y-axis. When you get the equation to say y equals something times x plus something, or mx plus b, the b value, the thing that's not multiplying by x, and notice I put the box around the plus as well because the sign goes with it. That's where it's going to begin. That's where it's going to cross through the y-axis. The next one is to look at the slope. Slope is always a rise over a run, or how much it goes up and down over how much it goes left and right. So if it is an integer, or if it is a number that is not a fraction, you can make it into a fraction by putting it over 1. It always runs at least one time to the right. So find the slope. Then once you go up or down and then left or right based on the slope and put those 2 points, you're going to draw a line through those 2 points because you only need 2 points to create a line. However, the more points you use, the more points you'll see if it makes it a true statement or not, if you made a mistake. So we have an equation that says y plus 1 equals 2/3 x. Okay, the first thing you want to do is you want to get y all by itself. We don't have that. On the left side of this equation, we got something that says y plus 1. So we want to move plus 1 on over. We know inverse operations tells us how to undo plus 1. We subtract 1. In order to, if you subtract 1 on the left, you got to subtract it from the right. So when you subtract 1 on the right, it leaves you with y all by itself on the left equals 2/3 x minus 1. So now we have y by itself. Coincidentally, now we have y equals mx plus b. Remember, your b value is the negative value itself. So it says the y-intercept is -1. So plot the point if you need to, 0, -1. Or just go down on the y-axis, go down this many times to this point right here, -1. The slope is the number that's multiplying by x. It's not 2/3 x, the slope. If I ask you what the slope is, if you tell me 2/3 x, I'm going to tell you no. The slope is only the thing that multiplies by it, 2/3. Both of those numbers are positive. Remember, it's rise over run, up or down. Positive says go up twice. The bottom is the run. 3 tells you to go to the right 3 times. So from this point, even though they drew the triangle opposite the way I'm going to draw it right here, this tells you to go up 1 time, 2 times, and then go to the right 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. But we get to the same point that way. Once you have the 2 points, draw yourself as straight a line as you can through the 2 points in order to have your line graphed. Back for a second. Okay, example number 2 is using the slope-intercept form. It says your monthly car payment of a new car, your payments are made according to the equation P is equal to 15,000 minus 250T, where P is the amount you owe and T is the number of months. What is the original amount you owe? What is the monthly payment? And then graph the model. It says first rewrite the equation. P equals negative 250T plus 15,000. The only reason we rewrote it is because this is not slope-intercept form given here. The way it's rewritten here, now it says mx plus b. Okay, slope-intercept form. It shows you that the p-intercept or the y-intercept is 15,000. So the original amount you owe when t is 0 or when there's 0 payments made, 0 months made, is 15,000. Then it says from the slope we can see that it goes down $250. So every month it's going down $250. Therefore your payment each month is $250. So when we graph that, we're graphing our B value says to start at 15,000. So on that graph right below 16,000 is where you're going to begin. You're going to go down for every month. You're going to go down $250. Notice it's 10 months at a time. So for every 10 months, you're going to go down $2,500. So from $15,000, 10 months, you have to go down $2,500 in over 10 months. Or this is just a bad scale, but it shows you, it wants to show you the whole thing, how long it's going to go till it runs out. It says, notice that the line stops when it reaches t-axis, t equals 60. So therefore, the car is paid off at that point. Again, this isn't considering any interest or anything. Okay, graphing things in standard form. Now, this is something that you did not do as much in Algebra 1, but this is something we're going to do plenty of, finding the zeros of quadratic equations. Write the equation in standard form. Again, standard form is something times x plus something times y equals something all by itself with no variables, or ax plus by equals c. Find the x-intercept by letting y equal 0. Now we graphed a little bit in Algebra 1 by using the x and y intercepts. When you're using the x-intercept, you plug in 0 for y, and when you're solving for the y-intercept, you plug in 0 for x. So it says use the x-intercept to plot the point where the line crosses the x-axis. Step number 3 is find the y-intercept by letting x equal 0 and solve for y. Usually this makes the equation much, much simpler and much, much quicker. Sometimes though it'll pop up and it'll make it into a fraction that's not as easy to estimate where it is. But then draw the 2 points or draw the line through the 2 points. So what we're going to do in essence is we're going to solve for x and for y. We know that this is the y-axis. We're going to solve for this value wherever it happens to be by plugging in 0 for x. And then we're going to solve for this value wherever it happens to be by plugging in 0 for y. Then we have those two values. We can connect to both of them to make our straight line. Here is drawing quick graphs right here. 2 different methods, using the standard form as the first one and using the, that's on the next one. But using the standard form here, it says the equation is already in standard form, ax plus by equals c. So in order to find the y, in order to find the x-intercept, that's what's first, it plugs in 0 in place of y. So 2 times 0 cancels out. Okay. So now you have negative 3x equals 2. You know to divide by negative 3 on both sides. 6 divided by 3 is negative 2. So the x-intercept, or where it crosses through the x-axis, is at negative 2. Do the same thing to find the y-intercept. Plug in 0 in place of x. So what that gives you is 2y equals 6. Again, it makes it a simple equation. Divide by 2, and the y-intercept is going to be 3. So when the y-intercept is 3, you have 2 points. You need 2 points to draw a straight line. This is method 2 using the slope-intercept form. Create y equals mx plus b form by moving negative 3x over by adding it. Then dividing by 2 on both sides. You divide everything by 2. So y equals 3 over 2x, because 6 divided by 2 simplifies to 3, and 3 divided by 2 is 3 over 2x. So now you have mx plus b. B tells you where to begin. M tells you where to. So you have m and you have b. Your b value tells you to begin at 3. Your m value, 3 over 2, tells you to go up 3 and go to the right 2. So from that 3 point, we're going up. And notice it's counting 1, 2, 3, and over 1, 2. There's our second point. You have 2 points. You can draw a line through the 2 of them. Graphing horizontal and vertical lines. The graph of y equals c is a horizontal line through point 0, c. The graph of x is a vertical line through c0. Okay, so when x equals 3, that means x's value is always going to be 3. So that means it's going to be 3 there, there, there. It's going to always be 3. That creates, you can see, a vertical line going up and down. The same thing's true when it's a horizontal line, when it tells you that y equals -2. So this is your y-axis, this one going up and down. So y is -2 there, it's -2 there, it's -2 the whole way. It creates a horizontal line doing that. Checkpoint says the number of gallons of gas left in your tank is given by G equals 12 minus 4T with T in hours. Find the hourly gas rate or the hourly gas use. Determine in how many hours the tank will be empty, then graph the model. Well, our graph is already completed here. If we want to make this say y equals mx plus b, we simply change it to G equals -4T plus 12. So what it's saying is, so in doing that, we are creating slope-intercept form, mx plus b. B tells you to begin at 12, so that's where we're beginning here. M is -4 over t. Remember, you can always put it over 1, so that means go down 4 and go to the right 1. So down 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice it's counting by 2 each line. So down 4 and to the right 1 would be there. You have 2 points, you can draw your line. It says determine how many hours the gas, how many hours is it going to be empty? Well, if we draw that line and we come straight down, in 6 hours, it's going to be empty. So 4 gallons per gas. I'm sorry, not in 6 hours. My thing's cut off here. This is 0, this is 1, this is 2. At 3 hours, it's going to be empty. Then it says to graph these two equations. We'll do number 3 real quick since it's really simple. Y's value is 2. This is your y-axis. So at 1, 2, it's going to cross through. Y's value is always going to be 2. So you're going to have a horizontal line doing that. The other one, 2y plus 4x equals 4. You can make this in the slope-intercept form, or you can just keep it in standard form since it's already in that form. Okay, if you're going to do it that way, standard form, just plug in 0 to find the intercepts. If I want to find the x-intercept, I want to plug in 0 for y. So 2 times 0 plus 4x equals 4. 2 times 0 or anything times 0, cancel it out. 4x equals 4. Divide by 4, x's intercept value is going to equal 1. So this is your x-axis. Where it's 1 is where it's going to cross through. So that's one of your points. In order to find the y-intercept, you plug in 0 for x. So now 2y plus 4 times 0 equals 4. Anything times 0, again, cancels it out. 2y equals 4. Divide by 2 on both sides. Y's intercept equals 2. This is your y-axis, so where it's 2, it's going to cross through. Now you have 2 points. Draw yourself a straight line connecting straight through the 2, and that's how your graph is going to look.